It's 12 o'clock. We're down one person, but hopefully she makes it. So heads up, this is more background information. I don't want to bore you guys too much. I'm going to share the slides out later. If you need any information that's in them, any links, things like that. I had a QR code on a board with a bunch of stickers. I left it at home. But if you need my information...
Way to get nerdy, man.
I can put the QR code on my phone, you can scan it, or you can find me somewhere. Anyways.
You got a Bitly link anywhere too while we're at it?
No, just come on, man. It's 2019. Business cards, who? QR codes.
It's true.
All right. Well, how about we get started with you guys introducing who you are? And I am a person of order, so if we can go in order. I mean, it just makes it nice.
All right, Stefan, you go first.
I would say why, but okay. Yes.
Listen, I have anxiety, okay? That's it.
All right. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. So I am Kevin Tech, even though most of these guys know me as Ktdata. I have been streaming for 11 years now, and so that's why I'm here to help you guys jump in too, because it's a lot easier now than when I started.
I'm Stefan Watson. I run Crackbrain Productions. I have been streaming for a little over 3 years now, primarily more through podcasting and interfacing through that. So, yeah, streaming in a very different way.
My name is Kari Keone. I've been streaming for about 3 years, about the same amount as Stefan. I mostly just help my friends set up their rigs now. I don't even have time to stream between all of that stuff, so this is pretty good.
I selected a panel of experts. Kari is here for technical reasons. You got your podcast guy. You got your freaking tech guru over there.
Get off my lawn,
audio,
kids.
mixers.
The industry professional.
There's a lot of knowledge here. So I hope to have some time for questions. If you guys have questions, please ask them because that's what this is all about. I could spend 24 hours talking about the technical ins and outs of streaming, but we have about 45 minutes. So, specs. I have a quick board up here with some, this is minimum, by the way. This is minimum, so don't throw things at me. You can definitely go over this. One of the things that I'm going to point out is I think laptops are bad, but I'm not trying to shame you. If you can make it work and you can do it, just stream to your heart's content. And I wanted to say that AMD is kicking Intel's ass in 2019. But what do you guys think are super important things to know about specs for building a computer or buying a computer if you want to get into streaming?
I would have to, so with the laptop one, if you do make it work, do not put it on your lap. I've actually done streams with it, and that thing will get crazy hot within the first half hour. So that's one thing. Heat is always one thing to think about, and especially if you have a really loud computer, there's probably a high chance that's going to get picked up somewhere. So you may want to put that into consideration.
Oh, I have a slide for that.
Yeah. You can usually get lap fans too. You know those lap desks that have fans built into them, but they don't work very well. So the air still has to come out somewhere, and it's usually next to your knees. So. Yeah, with heat, you want to keep your laptop on your desk.
Yeah.
Having it on your lap, there's really no reason. I'll get you a chair, okay? If you need a chair, call me, and I will get you a chair to put your laptop on.
There's actually a medical condition too that from people who've put their laptops on their laps and get a rash.
Where you get the red rash on your legs. Yeah, no, I have that.
So you don't want that.
From one person to another, it looks like you're wearing fishnets, but they're red. It's great.
What is that condition called?
I don't know what it's called, but I have it.
So one of the other things that we're talking about, heating, cooling, streaming and the streaming software and playing a game at the same time takes a lot of power. Your PC is going to heat up. If something tells you that your computer is fine with the fans it comes with, they're probably lying and not thinking about streaming. So extra fans, y'all. It's a good thing. You can get one to put in some side fans, back fans for $12, I think is what I paid for mine on Amazon.
Yeah, fans are super easy to install. And also, if you don't get extra fans, usually the clay or whatever is holding your one fan on will melt off and your fan will fall off. We're not joking. Streaming really does take a ton of stuff, a ton of heat.
Cool. All right. Streaming programs. I am going to apologize here because I am a straight up OBS fanboy. So if you have XSplit questions or you like XSplit, I'm sorry, but probably all of us use OBS unless I'm wrong.
No.
I knew you would have something weird.
I'm in a Mac environment, so I know all you guys are going whatever. I like editing in Final Cut. But so I actually use Wirecast, and that is like in a different league in terms of price because it's designed for creative professionals.
Yeah.
But it does a lot of the similar stuff, which that's why I'm kind of sad because I'm like, well, I'm stuck here now. OBS didn't exist when I first started with it. So.
Yeah, Macs are another thing that, that's a lot of fun. But we got OBS Studio. I think Classic is ugly. They're pretty comparable, but you might as well just get Studio. Streamlabs OBS is one that Streamlabs partnered with OBS to make their own client. It's really nice, has everything you need, especially if you use Streamlabs. XSplit is good. They do have a free one, but their best part is paid. And OBS Live is a kind of more an add-on for OBS that is made by Stream Elements. So what do you guys prefer, and what tips do you have for the program?
So, like for myself personally, when podcasting, I'm using a lot of OBS Studio. To me, it just works effortlessly. I'm never really capped out by CPU usage and everything like that. Whereas I've had so many problems using Streamlabs OBS, especially when it comes to layers and adding different little features. Just for some reason, every time that we've tried going and doing Streamlabs OBS, we'll go from pretty decent quality to we're just dropping 40% of our frames. So.
Yeah. I think that Streamlabs OBS is good for beginners, but you are going to want, like, I really do, it's like it's OBS with training wheels, essentially.
Yeah.
And those training wheels aren't always going to be good, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like any training wheel, you're not always going to be able to go off-road with it, but as you start to stream more, you're going to figure out what you like and what you don't, and Streamlabs, you will outgrow it pretty quickly, honestly. If you're streaming, like, even 3 times a week, I'd say you'll probably have 4 to 6 months with Streamlabs OBS before you get bored.
And I use it all the time because I'm lazy.
He's a child.
So, Streamlabs OBS actually has a really good first time when you open it. It'll do everything for you. It will set some settings kind of incorrectly, in my opinion, which we'll talk about a little later. But it's just really easy to jump into, and then with that knowledge, you can make the jump to OBS Studio, and it's really nice. So, peripherals. This has a lot of opinions, but here's a list of what I think is basics. Once again, if you can make streaming work, you can have fun, play games with bare minimum, start there, slowly build up. I've been streaming for about 5 years. I started on one monitor with a crappy headset, and I've made it up to have all of this stuff, and it took 4 years. So you can always build on top of it, but what do you guys think is like your most important piece?
The first one you have there, headset. Always monitor your audio, because it's kind of stupid when you're on a stream and you think everybody can hear you, but you're just talking like this and no one can hear you at all in the stream. So I think that's one of the most important things, because people they won't hang around if they can't hear you.
For myself personally, like I said, with podcasting, I look at microphones first, and that's something where I see up over there that you have like Blue Yeti. I hate Yeti microphones, I really do, but that's actually more of a voice acting standpoint.
I'm with you on that though.
So what brand do you use?
So I love Audio-Technica.
It's also there.
As well as Rode. So Rode and Shure both make pretty decent microphones. I would say if you're looking at just streaming, look at more into Audio-Technica or Shure, but if you do want to use it for other reasons like voice acting or narration or something like that, a Rode mic, I believe the NT-A1, fantastic microphone and will do almost virtually anything, and you will literally be able to talk right over here and this will not even be heard. So, fantastic microphone.
Yeah.
And this is Marley, everybody.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure, thank you, sorry. So my name is Mahoodles on Twitch. I do variety streaming, like a ton of different games. I also do science education content about space and sharks and stuff. I like those things. But yeah, like everything from like old retro games to Subnautica and Fallout and stuff is what I play. Been streaming for about like 5 years now as well, so I love it.
We love to have you here. So with the Audio-Technica, I believe they have a comparable mic for the same price as some Yetis, so
Yeah.
70, 80 bucks.
Input on that.
Let's hear it.
I currently have like an AT2020 for my mic, and it's pretty good, but I kind of made a big mistake, in my opinion, by buying a USB mic instead of XLR, so don't do that.
Can you explain the difference real quick?
XLR is just better quality. Essentially why I want it is because like I want a mixer like this. Like I literally own a mixer like this, but I can't USB my mic into it. So I have to like get a converter and I lose some quality and stuff there. So
No, with using an XLR, so XLR is basically, if you're looking up over here, these actual connections, it's using more of an analog and direct connection. So it's not having to compress and translate any of the audio file back down into like a different format. So I would definitely say if you're going to take things seriously, XLR is just a very great standard, and they're not expensive whatsoever. USB is just easy to use, and most people are used to just plug it in and it works.
Yeah, there's also other options. If you do have a USB, you can download like audio, like you can download a mixer. There's one that's free. It's called Voice Meter Banana, I think.
Yeah.
And that actually works. I have a USB microphone because I initially wanted to be lazy, but now that I'm trying to actually customize my sound settings, like setting up a voice gate and all that good, or a sound gate rather, and all that good stuff, you can use that Voice Meter Banana, I think is what it's called. There's tons of guides for how you can get really like studio quality audio, even in like a room like this, with that program, but it's still not as good as an XLR. It doesn't matter what you do, you still can't replace this, so.
Cool. Yeah, and I don't want to, once again, scare anyone away. When I started, I used the mic that came with my Logitech headset. No one complained about the sound. Now that I have a good setup, people complain about the sound, so that's great.
Spoiled them, that's why.
My one call out is good lights, and a lot of people kind of look to spend too much money on this. I literally bought an LED bulb that is also a Bluetooth speaker that has multiple colors for $12 on Amazon.
Oh, shit.
And it is bright. So LED bulbs are really good to look at, even in your fixtures, in your stream room, your room that you stream in, everything like that.
I made the huge mistake of buying like the Philips Hue lights, which are
yeah.
insanely expensive. I didn't know that you could just buy one for $12 on Amazon.
I'll send you my affiliate link.
I mean, I'm down, but the Philips, like the Hues, you have to like, they have all these different options. You can have like a string light, you can have like a bunch of different lighting. I have mine set up really specifically for my stream. My whole room, my entire computer room is set up to stream, and so I have lights everywhere. I can sync it to the game that I'm playing. I can change all the lighting. I also have a ring light. Lighting is actually really important to me too, which is why I spend so much money on Philips Hue lights. But you don't have to spend, I don't think you should buy Philips Hue, especially when there are cheaper options. With the Hue, you have to set up your own hub, and it has to be in your house, and you have to connect it to your Wi-Fi. It's kind of a huge setup. The options are really cool. There's like 12 different kinds of lights. Like I have a band light in my ceiling, so it kind of comes down.
Her room is amazing.
My room's pretty cool, y'all. If you ever want to see a glittery room.
The other thing I have is another $10, $12 selfie light. It's just a little ring light that clips to the back of my desk.
Is it the one from Amazon with the phone thing
Yep.
too? Yeah,
Yep.
that one is so, if you need the link to it, message any of us. That one is
Yep.
so good.
go to my Twitch page and it's on my little affiliate thing there.
Buy our
Real,
stuff.
I love that light. I don't have much space in my room, like, at all, and I struggled with lighting on my stream for a while, and I'm also super into photography, so it's something that, like, bothered me more than most people. Like, I would love a huge studio light, but it's like, there's absolutely no room in my room. So yeah, I bought that little ring light on Amazon. It's like a selfie thing. It has, like, a thing for your phone, and I have just plugged it, like, up to a shelf above my desk, and it provides really good light, I feel like, for my stream, for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. So
like $20.
I
15.
kind of wanted to talk about internet, but I didn't want to spend too much time on it. This here will give you some basics on what you kind of need. It's really not that much. Almost anyone in this room probably maybe has 4 megabits of upload. The one thing I personally want to point out is bitrate. Usually when I see people start streaming, they like go freaking to the wall with bitrate. They're rocking 6,000. It's way too high. I stick between the 2,500 to 3,500 range. That can get a lot deeper. If you have questions about that, you can research it. But what do you guys think about internet and problems you run into maybe?
So internet is something where, especially with doing the podcast streams, where even though we are streaming specifically more over on YouTube, it goes through the website through a back-end channel, and we need really, really consistent internet speeds, which also stinks when we're recording outside of it or in an apartment. So, for my personal setup, I'm usually doing about 400 down and 15 up and that's the only way that I'll actually be able to get nice, nice clear connections. Anything lower than that,
What
it
provider
just
do you have?
Comcast.
So that's another thing I wanted to talk about. Comcast has data caps, so be aware of that. If you are really limited in your budget and you have CenturyLink available that's like 35, 80 in your area, CenturyLink's data cap is extremely high, and I've never hit it.
Just make sure that they're giving you the speed that they
Yes.
say.
Yep.
Yeah, I have fiber, so I have no input here.
Get out of here.
All right, on to the next one. All right.
Oh,
So,
can I mention one more
yeah,
thing?
go ahead. I just wanted to cut her
I'm
off.
not sure. This is totally I know, right? I think Twitch partners might actually get like more bandwidth for their stream and more like bitrate and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a good, I think you might have linked the website, but I think Twitch has a good website that's like depending on your internet speed and yada yada yada. Here's like the recommended bitrate and everything that you should use. So they have some really great info on there to help you out too if you guys didn't know or didn't see it on the
Yeah, no, certainly. That's a part of. It's a deep conversation, but the easy part is they don't provide encoding for affiliates very often. If it's available, if there's not enough partners streaming or it's just a low time of the day, you might get it. And an easy way to tell if someone has it, or it's transcoding, I believe, is if you can go to a stream and change the quality of the stream down a bunch, that means that that person is getting transcoding. And Twitch needs to buy more transcodes so that they can offer it to affiliates, but they were supposed to do that a year ago and they haven't, so don't count them. But settings is one that we could get lost in forever. What would you guys say is your, like, one setting that you looked over that caused you a lot of trouble? Because I know everyone has one, probably. If you don't, you're lucky.
I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of different settings. More recently, I learned that you can actually, like in OBS, have it like use your graphics card. So I've been super messing with that recently, which has caused me to be like, wait, hold on, is my stream still running okay? So yeah, I just learned that.
I would say
It's new,
that.
I don't know.
Can you guys hear me? This is not working. All right, I'll be loud. The one thing I see people like, should I be streaming in 1080p? And I tell most people no, because most people don't watch their streams full screen for one thing, because then you won't see the chat. So you're essentially, adding more burden to it, because 1080p takes more processing power. So
Turn up your mic.
Can you hear me? No, maybe. Okay.
It's working a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, but yeah. So like 720p, honestly, is probably good for the majority of people out there. And it's going to be a little less on your resources, so you get more frames when you're playing Fortnite and stuff.
Yeah, that's actually the
The
one
frame
thing
rate's more
I
important.
pointed out here is the scaled resolution. A lot of people forget that. So that's my one thing is make sure your scaled resolution is 720p because that's... Any other settings suggestions? Because this one can go deep, so I just made a quick one. And then I gave you guys a bunch of guides down here if you need the slides later.
And everybody's setup's a little bit different too, so
That's
don't
why
just
it's
copy
hard.
and paste and expect things to work.
Yep.
You're gonna have to fiddle with it a little bit.
Yeah, audio settings it just depends on your environment. You have to take into account how much background noise, how much echo, like how insular your, like actually the room you're streaming from is. I have a friend who streams in his kitchen. You can always hear his mom yelling in the background. And that stuff's hilarious, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, audio is next. So this is a quick slide. I put Shroud because you guys all love Shroud. So this is just kind of what 720p versus 360p looks like, and I'm able to do this with Shroud because he's a partner and I can choose the settings. It's really hard to actually display, so I don't even know if you can tell the difference, but it's in the slides. So audio. These are the quick ones I called out. This is if you don't have a mixer, and I did mention Voice Meter Banana. So
You are so smart.
I will let these experts talk about their audio and what they think is important.
Okay, so first thing about audio, I think it's like the most important thing about your stream, set aside like the quality and stuff. Like you can have kind of worse quality, but if your audio is bad and like hurting people's ears, they're not gonna hang around for like 2 seconds. So you need to make sure your audio is good before like anything else. And like don't stress about it too much, but just make sure people can hear you clearly and go back and like watch your old broadcasts or something and make sure your sound levels are okay. And like even instead of starting a stream, like record a few minutes of you playing a game and talking to see how it sounds first. Yeah, also I'd recommend getting, what are those called? The little springy things around your mic?
Shock mount?
Shock mount, thank you, yeah. Get one of those and
So that way, when you do this, you don't hear that bump.
Yeah, yeah. I have one of the little like arm things on the side of my desk too, so my mic like hangs here.
Yeah,
Look at me and all my technical words today.
Yeah, I have I just bought the Yeti like streaming package that they have, and their arm, regardless of what microphone you have, I've gone through 7 arms, and I know that sounds crazy. It's because I was buying cheap ones on Amazon. Buying a cheap arm is not it's not gonna save you any money. Save up for a good arm and invest in it, because if you get like a good shock mount and you get a good arm, then they won't ever hear you typing on your keyboard or slamming it or breaking it in half. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, really important. I swear to you, I've bought so many arms, and there's like a whole pile of them in the background of my stream. It's kind of funny.
Did you
So if I
have
get a
problems
better
with the
arm,
new Weir one? Because that's what I have. I have the really cheap one from Amazon. The new.
Yeah, the one with the
It works great
screw.
for me.
The screw that goes bald when you put your mic in. Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
I
I
have
think
no
that's
problems.
that's the
Yep.
exact one. And it also droops because I have my mic up here. So the Yeti one, honestly, it's the only one that's ever worked for me, and it's incredible. Like, it will stay in place no matter where I put it, and it doesn't move an inch.
Yeah, I always tell people, so are you gonna trust a $20 mic to hold your almost $200 microphone? That's not, invest in it. And like, it's a night and day difference too. Like, I went from the high end ones because they wasn't making the cheap ones when I started, and I bought a couple of those because I'm like, I need extras, and I'm like, these things are garbage. So like, if anyone wants one, I'll give you one. I need them.
All right, Stefan.
See,
I need to hear some audio tips from you.
Okay, see, and that's where hearing everything as far as the the microphone stands and arms and whatnot. Just yesterday, we actually wound up switching to lapel microphones because the amount of times I have to tell my co-hosts of just like, okay, stop hitting the table, or the amount of times where they will sit there and they've got great mic presence, and then for some reason they now come all the way over here. So that's something where to remove that entirely, nice wireless microphone, lav microphones. I'm now swearing by that.
How much would you say that would cost to get into?
Again, you can go, there's options. You can go cheap and be able to go and get some decent lav microphones, dual channels for probably about like $150. The ones that we have right now, $500 kit, but it gets 8 lav mics with 12 different channels. So you can go that route. I mean, honestly, you don't need to go crazy. It really just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're streaming, just go cheap. You don't need to go and do too much. But with podcasting, we need to go high end. So
Cool. I just want to do a quick check. Does anyone have any technical questions that they came here to ask?
Oh.
Go ahead.
Don't get me started. There is one thing that I have run into, streaming and recording myself. Keyboard. I made the mistake of not buying a silent keyboard, and my mechanical clicks are in the background all the time.
That actually can be fixed by an arm.
These settings will help you. I mean, mechanical keyboards are probably what most people want to go with for the fact that it's a mechanical keyboard. But these right here, compressor, gain, noise gate, noise suppression, you can use these to be able to cut that out. I have a Turtle, and people would ask, why does it sound like someone's peeing in the background? So I was like, all right, I need to actually do some work here and set up some, I believe I used a noise gate. So like it says here, it's basically like a window. It only opens at a certain level. So it basically only opens to my voice, and it stays closed for any of the background noise when I'm not talking. There's a couple different ways to do it, and some of these can help. And there's really great tutorials on YouTube. You just type in quick OBS audio settings or so forth, and those ones will help you out there.
And a quick tip with the microphone too, depending on what microphone you have. So if you have something like this, put your microphone behind it, and it's not going to pick it up a little bit less too. So trying to put it behind your mic on most mics, not all mics, that will help too, because that way when you're typing it will come towards you.
I have the AT 2020 as well, and fantastic microphone. It doesn't pick up anything without, I think 2 feet. You won't even hear it. The unfortunate thing is my keyboard's right behind my microphone. His desk space is limited. This man's supposed to give me a mic arm. Still haven't.
Well,
But
KT has a bunch.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Have you tried the noise gate settings on? Do you use OBS?
I have OBS, yes.
Yeah. So the noise gate settings actually, that's what, I have a Corsair. This is the loudest keyboard on the market. So,
Yeah.
The K70?
yeah.
Yeah, so I have the K70 and the AT 2020, and I type super fast, and super powerful, and yeah.
Yeah, I type with 3 fingers also, so I just pound that thing, and you can't hear it at all in my stream. So try the noise gate settings on OBS. I promise, it's like butter. It's awesome.
How do you type with 3 fingers? I'm sorry.
It's called the claw.
Yeah, the claw. Well, I started typing before I got typing classes, so before 2nd grade, I was making GeoCities pages, and so that's how I learned how to. I was typing
Who here knows what
HTML.
GeoCities is, just by the way?
What's up? I had a Dragon Ball Z fan page.
Say what? We're talking after this.
We're going off topic.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Kari's done some wild, nerdy-ass shit, all right?
Horrible.
So, if anyone has any other questions, just wave your arm, stop us. We have a lot of time here, and I really just wanted to be available to answer questions. We have another streaming panel that's more of just how to stream, how to get started, and basic thought concepts. And we always get a couple technical questions that we could spend like half an hour on, and we're like, sorry, we gotta go, bye. So just let us know. With audio, I did throw out, you can get more advanced than these couple settings. You know, you got Voice Meter Banana, which doesn't require anything. It can get so deep though, you can set up virtual audio cables, like you can friggin' go balls to the wall.
I actually destroyed my computer using it, so be careful with what you do, because I just straight up, I got one Windows update and it destroyed all the audio on my computer, and that's one thing that can happen with that program. They try to get ahead of them, but a lot of the time there are hot fixes for days, and sometimes you can't afford that. So make sure you do
the issues
the,
with it not saving settings too.
yes, absolutely.
That's one thing. If you use it, if it for some reason doesn't work, check your settings, because I swear half the time it resets on me, and I'm like,
Yeah, save one of the core files so that, like, save it to your desktop, and also save, you know, the Windows back. I use Windows, I don't know about Macs. Well, you can Time Machine, but make sure that you save before you start using it at all. Make sure you save one clean save of your computer, else you're gonna have to redo the entire thing.
Actually, if you're looking on Mac, Voice Meter doesn't exist.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
That's why I use all hardware mixers and stuff.
So I did call out mixers as well, which are a little hefty to get into. There's a new one that came out. I think I'm gonna butcher the
the
name.
Go
Go
XLR.
XLR. So that's like made for streaming. So if you want to get super deep into it, you can look into mixers. Do you guys have any quick tips on mixers?
Buy larger than you need. So like this
Yeah.
one right here, I would say most streamers, even though you're going to only be using 1, maybe 2 ports, get something like that, so that way you can grow with it. Like, that's the thing that sucks with mixers is if you buy a tiny one and you run out of ports, guess what? You're shelling out more money. So just go one size larger and you should be okay.
A good tip to also do, really read the user manual, because
These are beautiful.
yeah, because there are so many like little tips and tricks when it comes to balancing out your fades, your EFX, balancing out just every little bit to make it sound the right way. With me, since I've got a deeper vocal register, I need to format my audio completely different than actually running Ethan's settings. So that's something where get to know it, especially if you're planning on like, oh, I'm gonna have a friend on, because there will be all the times where we will record and you can hear me perfectly, and then you cannot hear him at all. So really get familiar with it.
Yeah.
I've met those guys who've written those things. Those guys are like audio geniuses, and they love sharing. So like normally people don't read the manual, but that's one of those I recommend reading because they'll explain it down to the detail on how to do all that stuff, and it's just a resource I think a lot of people just like, I'll throw it out.
RTFM?
Yeah. There's also a voice actor on YouTube who does the Voice Meter Banana tutorials where he like teaches you about levels and how to mold like the settings to your voice specifically, and it's really neat. Like I got studio quality audio for the first time tuned specifically to my voice, so that like the shrill high notes were like I got to hear myself in the less annoying way that I've always wanted. You know what I mean? Like you can take out your vocal fry, you can take out your squealing, you can take out like it's so cool. Yeah. You can take out so many like bad parts of your voice when you do levels and stuff. It's really neat.
I thought my voice was always perfect.
One quick little thing, this comes more from a voice acting standpoint. Understanding your audio settings will be great. Something else that will help you a ton is just learning how to use your voice the correct way. Because there will be times where your mixer will go down, and rather than being screwed to just like, oh, well, now I literally can't reset anything, if you just know how to modulate your voice just by simple exercises, you can go from, like you'll basically just sort of ride the wave with it.
You can
know?
tell who has a beautiful voice on this panel. So
You're not wrong.
I would listen to him. So we spent a lot of time on audio, so that should kind of tell you how important we think it is. I wanted to talk a little bit about bots. I'm like die-hard Ankbot, which has now been bought out by Streamlabs, so it's Streamlabs chatbot. Quick things I have at the bottom, chat moderation, timers, commands, minigames, music, so much more. And that's why I like the Streamlabs chatbot, is because they bought the most customizable bot out there, basically. There are others. I think Nightbot is a great starting one. What do you guys use or have used before?
I did not have anything probably for like 2 years. I don't know. I got MooBot though. That was my first one.
I can see why you got that one.
I know. I was like, oh my God, it's named for me. So yeah, I used that and was like, it's okay. And then, I was like, oh, I want to switch to Ankbot. That seems cool. But by the time I figured that out, I guess, I don't know. I got lazy with my stream. I got busy with college. But by the time I wanted to switch over, it was the Streamlabs chatbot. And I adore it. It is so great. Highly recommend. There's just so many customizable stuff, like you said. So it really has everything that you need, pretty much.
You guys will begin to notice I'm 100% on the Streamlabs platform. And it's just because they do everything. If they see something that a streamer needs, they'll make it. They just came out with a website tool where you can build a whole website within Streamlabs. Stream Elements is great, but I think Streamlabs is just ahead of the curve. So
They pay him.
They could.
What's your affiliate code?
There are affiliates for Streamlabs, but I didn't set it up.
I don't use bots because I don't like the machines taking over my stuff. So.
All right, Elon Musk. So does everyone here use Streamlabs chatbot, or do we have a different perspective?
So I actually formatted Nightbot to go and work with YouTube. And it's something where it's interesting because YouTube has its own set of moderation to kind of deal with. So sometimes you'll have the two fighting each other. So all the time when we're actually doing a podcast, I'll sit there and we'll be able to see all of a sudden someone will make a comment and it'll kind of fade out a little bit, and I usually have to do the same thing. I allow it.
Can you not shut it off entirely through YouTube?
You can. The only issue is that once you do that, you're basically just letting the floodgates open. So we have a few people that we work with that come over onto the podcast, and there will be times where they'll make comments and I'm just like, no. So it's kind of one of those where as much as you can make Nightbot work with YouTube, at the same time YouTube just kind of chokeholds everything. So you really have to spend some time in understanding how to work and then get it the exact right way, and I still am working with that.
Cool. That's another thing, is most of us stream on Twitch. Mixer is great, but Twitch is just the granddaddy. I've never tried Mixer. I've tried YouTube. I hated their dashboard, so I'm glad we have you if anyone has YouTube questions. But KT, did you use any other bots in your entire, grandfather-esque streaming
enough,
time?
I've used all of them. I mean, this ages me. I remember when Nightbot launched. So I've used all of them, and I'd have to say, the Streamlabs one's the best. Nightbot's still up there too, because I know the guy who did that. He's totally committed to making it better and better. So that's always one thing with these bots, is since you're not the one programming them, if you're missing something, shoot an email to them. That's what they're looking for, because they might not need that specific need, but if they see a lot of people, they're like, all right, we'll add that in.
Yeah, Streamlabs actually has a great thing on their website, somewhere in the forums, where if you want a new feature, you can propose it, and then people will upvote it. Or if it's already proposed, you can go upvote that idea. Yes, Streamlabs should have this. So there's another thing about Streamlabs chatbot that I wanted to point out, is now that there's slobs, they also built it in. Does anyone use the built-in? Because I use completely separate. How do you feel about the built-in?
It is actually very, very good system. It's pretty comparable.
And they call it CloudBot or something, right?
Yeah, it's CloudBot.
See, my problem is I need to switch over because then I don't have two programs running.
Yep.
But I'm like, but I still have Ankbot. It's there, and it was always there for me. I mean, it's not named that, but it's still there.
You're still Ankbot to me, man.
So, does anyone else use anything other than Streamlabs or Stream Elements for alerts?
Oh, can I mention one more thing? That
Of
like
course.
Twitch has like their auto mod thing that you
Oh,
can
yeah,
find in
I
your
shut
stream
that off.
settings. Oh, just kidding. Okay, never mind.
No, I'm just
Oh.
saying I shut it off.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure if you mentioned that you used it. Well, it's very helpful for my stream, being a lady on Twitch and stuff, especially if I am, for whatever reason, in like the just chatting category or something. Like you can just put a bunch of like terrible words you don't want in your stream in that section, and Twitch will like hold the message. So like a lot of racist messages and stuff are not shown on my stream because the words are already blocked like through Twitch or through specific messages that like I've added into the thing or something. So yeah, I think that might be a good thing to just go in there and like check, and I don't know, if you like don't want your full name on there or something, you can like put that in there. I don't know.
That's a
I
really
did
good
that
idea.
because I'm a paranoid person.
So, I don't want to speak for Kari, but I assume in the other streaming panel, this is kind of stuff we might get into as well. The whole moderating and
Yeah. I think
So,
that,
come to that.
there's a lot of people who want to stream but watch like family-friendly channels and aren't aware of the greater community on Twitch. And so we'll definitely cover that in the Streaming 101 panel.
I can talk all about that.
Yeah, I think people discover very quickly that it isn't actually safe for kids unless you put in some very strict keywords and you're really diligent about your moderating.
You
So
always have multiple mods in your stream, so
Yep.
when you get a 6,000 person host, you're good.
yeah.
Like me.
that's when I have a heart attack.
I know, that's when I want to die. That always makes me feel bad and not good.
It's like, that's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
Oh, I could. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's
I
a,
won't even get started. Like,
It
can I even
happens-
talk about this stuff here on a panel? I don't know.
some of it's not safe for work, but it's really, it's funny how like you want the exposure, but when it comes too quickly, it comes with some really messed up stuff. So,
Well, and for the most part, I think people want their community to be like a nice, good, happy one, not like super toxic. So,
Definitely, and bots can help you with that as
Yeah.
well. So there's so
Bots
much
definitely
customization out there. If you need any tips on games or files or videos, just hit us up. We're all very friendly people, always willing to help. That's the thing about like technical stuff and tech support, and a lot of us might agree that if we're not there in front of it, we're probably Googling 50% of the time how to help you. So if there's one tip, it's Google everything. How do I do this? How do I do that? Because if you come to someone for tech support, that might be what they're doing if they don't know the answer already.
Or screenshots. If you're going screenshots.
Screenshots,
'cause
yeah.
How many times have you heard, well, the thing and the thing doesn't work, and I'm like,
Well, I can speak for both of us here, and I know that we've offered to remote into people's computer because we're like, we cannot help you just over like voice. We need to see what's happening.
yeah, there was a speedrunner who was at one of our panels and was like, "Kid, I don't know how to do this thing." And I was like, "Just download TeamViewer. Let me do it for you." So I mean, we will. Just don't take advantage of us.
So I kind of wanted to start a fight here.
Uh-oh.
But are we all on Streamlabs alerts, or is anyone on Muxy? There are other options, but basically these two are like in the forefront. They're killing the game. They're the ones you'll see at TwitchCon. They gave me free socks, both of them.
I
So
didn't get
which
socks.
socks are more comfortable? Which socks are more comfortable?
honestly, the Stream Elements ones are more comfortable, but I still use Streamlabs.
Just
So
drinking that Kool-Aid.
it's delicious. But yeah, alerts are super important. What do you guys want to say about alerts?
I don't know. I love Streamlabs. I think it's great. I think, like, I don't know if this is something for the other panel as well, but like, I think alerts are something you should really care about in your stream, and you can also like monetize your stream better if you're at that point with alerts by having like specific alerts for different like amounts of bits or something people will give you.
$666.
I have the 666 donation alert, and people do that just because they like want that alert and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
We're all trash humans, and we love to see our name across the screen.
So fun.
So whenever I follow someone on Twitch, I hate that it's this way. But when I follow them and the alert doesn't come up, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
It really is a
acknowledge
reward.
me.
Yeah, you're purchasing your reward. It's almost like you know the big telescreen at like sporting events and stuff. Like it just feels awesome to have that. All of my alerts on Streamlabs are vines.
Oh,
So
yeah.
all of them have like a Vine song or like a Vine animation, and it's like my favorite. It makes me happy more than anything. Like I'll pay for it myself if I have to. So yeah, they're just like little rewards, and people love to see their own names, like you said. Especially like I will save my Twitch Prime sub just to like give it to somebody at like a critical moment. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I love doing that stuff. And if I love it, you can't even imagine people who don't even stream do. So
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, does anyone have any other questions before? I have a lot of stuff, so I want to make sure we get questions. We got 5 minutes? All right, I don't have a lot of stuff. But I wanted to show you kind of what you can do with alerts and OBS and Streamlabs. This is
Stream
Sushi
decks.
Dragon, and if you've never seen his stream, I highly recommend it because this guy is insane. So this is how advanced you can get.
He's clearly put a ton of time into it too.
Yeah, so that fire breath is literally every time someone follows or subs to him possibly, and wherever he is, he'll make sure to react to it, and that's like super crazy alert. Like this guy is my hero basically. And fun story, he actually lost his job, got fired from his job, and was like, well, I'm gonna stream now, and he's killing it, so.
Yeah.
All right.
He is killing it. Have you talked about Stream Decks at all? Because he does most of his stuff with
Yeah.
like Stream Decks taped. And
He actually uses numpads a lot, so
also that.
I'm kind of bitter about all of the Stream Decks and all that expensive stuff. So if you guys want to talk about Stream Decks real quick.
I love Stream Deck. I think it was
They're
worth every penny for
amazing.
me. I also got it on sale though. So.
Yeah, they're amazing, but I feel like someone needs to come into the market and come out with one for what it should really cost, which is like $40. So
Oh, that won't happen.
yeah, Stream Decks are amazing. If you really want to look into it, you don't have the budget. There's tons of tutorials how to make your own, how to use numpads, things like that. And that's kind of the problem with a super technical panel is there's so much to go over. Yes.
Speaking of that, Slobs just put out an app not too long ago to do controls straight through your phone. So you can actually, while you're midstream, do that.
Yeah, so a lot of those apps I've noticed their limitations are you can change scenes, you can do this, you do that. What's really great about Stream Decks is memes and random things to pop up on the stream, which there's also Rawcat Power Grid, which is really great and you can use your phone with, but I felt that unless you're extreme coding stuff, it's hard to just put memes, and I just want to put memes. So does anyone here have a Stream Deck, and what do you use it for?
So I am totally a tactile guy, which is partially why I have a mixer and everything else too, is because that way I could be looking at the chat and my hand's just out there pressing buttons, triggering stuff. So I don't have to like look down. That's what
Yeah.
I don't like about the phone-based ones is if I miss a key, I could be hitting something entirely wrong to trigger for it. So like even if you can't afford a Stream Deck, I used to use a old MIDI keyboard before Stream Deck came out, and that would allow me, I could feel my way around it. So that way I'm not looking down during my stream and I'm still looking at the screen and making sure I'm still talking to the chatters and stuff.
Yeah, if you have the $150, I recommend it. I'm just bitter that no one's made a cheaper one.
It's expensive,
I can
man. It's
see
a
that.
whole screen and then the keys on it.
Yeah. You telling
Get it
me
on
someone
sale.
can't make it for $40? I'm going to do it now. All right. So we have about 2 minutes left. Does anyone have any quick questions or anything? All right. What do you guys want to say is your one technical piece of advice before we leave? The one thing, the one nugget.
my one piece of technical advice is actually environment. I think you can make do with what you have, but try to think out of the box and try and really create something that is like unique to you and makes you feel good, because if what you're streaming in doesn't feel good, you're not going to do well. Like you have to like enjoy it and look forward to it, and you can do all sorts of silly things. Like you can make cardboard cutouts and make clouds. You know what I mean? Like you can do silly shit and people will appreciate it. But if you don't like your streaming area, you're gonna hate streaming. So
Yeah, I painted myself yellow, and I ate a pound of peaches on stream. So
we made him do it.
if you think it's stupid, but you'll have fun, just do it. It's so much fun. All right. What about everybody else?
Money doesn't solve everything. How many times have somebody's like, I'll just buy this and it'll fix it.
Yeah, Colby's you can't buy a personality. You know, he's
Yeah.
kind of just.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And, like one of the things that always bugs me is like I use a fairly expensive mic because I'm crazy. But everyone's like, why don't I just get that? I'm like, there are other things that you can do. You probably can talk to this. Like mic technique will make even the cheapest mic sound so much better. Because if you're doing this, I don't know why I sound so echoey on my streams. Well, your mic's like a foot away.
Oh, God. Like I said, it's something where you can go and get cheap dynamic microphones for, what, $12 to $25, but if you just know how to use your vocal register, you can fool a lot of people, and I've done that on way too many. You can hear me on anime, and it's stupid. I've got a dynamic microphone. You guys sound great.
I would
bring it home.
like to quickly add, I think like a lot of the technical aspects of streaming are super important because obviously you want good quality. People won't watch you, like I said earlier, like if your audio and stuff sucks and it's terrible. But I think like what's really, really important, set aside technical things, is just like your personality and how you broadcast and everything. And that's what we're going to be covering in our other panel tomorrow. So make sure to come to that too, because I feel like, just in my personal opinion, I think that stuff is more important than the technical stuff. Like I started streaming from a laptop with a horrible webcam and mic. So,
Yeah.
you know.
I agree with that completely. Like the technical stuff is good, but there are some very basic things that we'll be covering in the Streaming 101 panel that still apply even
Yeah.
when you get this deep in it.
The technical things are so important.
Yep, and my one piece of advice is make sure you have VODs enabled. If for
Yes.
some reason you don't want them, you don't want people to see past broadcasts, just really think about that. That means if you ever get to a point where someone's like, oh, I want you to do this event, send me some video, and you're like, oh, well, I don't save my VODs. So this kind of tells you how real quick, and then if you have questions, you're more than welcome to walk up to us after this, and if you want these slides, just come ask me, I'll tell you where I can send them to you, whichever way you want. Instagram, Twitter, if you want to email me, I'll make it happen. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.